Yeah, what is good, boys? I literally just made a video, but I'm gonna redo it. So, welcome back. I hope you've all had a great time, great week, great weekend, whatever it is. This video, I'm quickly just gonna go over and show you really simply my strategy. One of the strategies I use. I've got a couple different strategies. Yes, I have come up with them by myself. They are pretty much decent strategies. And typically, if one doesn't work 1 week, or if one's working really good 1 month and the other one's not, I'll stick to that. If one's not working really good that the next month, I'll stick to the other one. Same exact thing, but just whatever works. Nothing's ever going to be 100%. So first of all, what is the strategy and how does it work? Now, how it works and what it is really simple. Let me explain. So you've got, I trade breakouts. I also trade reversals, but I have my own unique way of trading it. It's very cool. That's why I just was able to take a payout on this account. Also, I've made a couple of thousand. I'm not here to bloat about what I've made this week or last week or whatever. But I'm just here to show you that this trading strategy is super duper freaking simple, bro. It cannot be more simple than this. So what is it, and what do you need to trade this or whatever? First of all, you can use it on any trading platform. If you're new to trading, you can go onto TradingView, you can go to TradeAvate, to TradeLocker, whatever it is you use, it works. I'm using this this. This is my prop firm account through TradeZ. I use Lucid Trading, bro. It's legit. It's the best. But I freaking love Lucid Trading. It's my TradeZ account. So this is what I trade on. You can also as long as you're on the same market, it's all the exact same. Doesn't matter what platform you're on. Now, where do you come to? You come to NASDAQ for prop firms. For futures, I should say, you come down here. You go to MNQ, or if you're trading whatever it is, if you're new to, or if you have a certain amount of, that you risk or whatever it is. If you trade mechanically and you sort of have a fixed stop loss every time, you can just go to NQ. I trade with different size stop losses, so I go to MNQ because I want to be more precise. Don't want to over risk on some days. I don't want to under risk either. MNQ if you are on futures, but if you are through Forex like TradingView, whatever it is, TradeLocker, you come here, go to NASDAQ 100. You type in NAS 100. It's what I use. It's what the best works. It's what works the best. Sorry. You go to the 1 minute. Come here on the 1 minute, and you will see that it should look like this. Now, why do we trade NASDAQ on the 1 minute, and what are we trading? So we're trading Asia Open. We're trading Tokyo Open, which is I'm pretty sure it's the first session open for Asia session, which for me in Australia converts to 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Now convert that to whatever time that is in your time if you're going to trade this, whatever you do. But it is 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time for me. It's when it opens. Now that's why you can see we have this massive, well not massive, but this decent push down. Cool. Now, I know this is not in replay mode. That's fine. You're not going to see any different results, which is cool. That's what I love about this strategy. It's either one way or the other. Now, how we trade. So I trade breakouts. This is what I'm showing you. This strategy is my breakout trading. So typically, you want to sort of. So the reason I place that there. So when you're looking at this range, so we have pre-session, within this sort of area here, up until 10 a.m. for whenever Asia Tokyo session opens for you. We have this range here. Boom, it's cool. Now, because we opened right here on this candle, we have this range here. Boom, we would want to be looking to break outside of this range. You sort of want to have equal distances. You don't really want to have it too spaced apart, but it just depends. And I'll go over some quick tips on how to place your stop loss, where to place your entries, all that sort of stuff. I'll get into that. Now, firstly, this isn't the great example. As you can see, we're here and this is NASDAQ on 1 minute, but we aren't really. Isn't really nice. So as you can see, we opened here for New York and then did whatever. It's not looking very good either. But look, let me just say that you want to look for your major support and resistance levels. You look at your major. You got one tap, 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 tap. This is a major sort of support and resistance area. Cool. We got that. and then you'd sort of stick around with that level. Also, we've got another main support and resistance. It's basically wherever price or the candles, whatever you call it, come and tap the most. You see the most the most action going on around that level, I should say. Boom, awesome, cool. Got that sorted. Where are we? Here for 10 a.m. 10 a.m. and we look at that point. So then, as you can see, boom, we broke out nicely. I did not take this trade. Well, let me explain why I did not take this trade. Because we are oversold. Or at the point of this candle, we closed at an oversold point. It's literally the first minute in. And you want to be careful. You don't want to be too sporadic. Now, I was watching this open. I did not take this trade, but I was just trying to be extra careful about it, I guess. Because I knew that we were oversold by the time we entered, but also because at the first minute we literally pumped down and broke out within the first 30 seconds. So I try and be careful of that sort of stuff. Now, where do you set your stop losses? Cool, I'll show you that now. Where you set your entry points, and your stop losses. Now, you got your entry points, cool. You got your lines, your support resistance. It's probably better to actually use something like this, because as you can see, if you use a rectangle here, you can actually see what it lines on, or what lined up back there, lines up here. Cool, we've got movement around here. Also, using a rectangle, you can see a bit more of the area. I don't really bother about that. I can sort of just point that out with my eye. But you come here, boom, we've got our entry points. Now, to set your stop loss, you pretty much want to come down, you want to drag your stop loss point, find where your other entry point is, mark it out to there. It's cool, 50 points, you halve that, and you go to 25 points, and you can go a bit less. So I typically would go maybe around, 17 points. Seems like a nice point. You don't want to be too lenient, but you don't want to, be too hard on it either. Same thing here, boom. Now, that's both the same. That you come down here, cool, got that. Now, even though that was technically a winning trade, and like I said, I'm not worried about going into replay mode for this, because I'm literally going to show you more, there's no cuts in between. I'm literally going to go back previous days, so that I'm not just skipping from, Friday the 5th of June to freaking April the 22nd. Like, bro, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you all literally just this week. I'm just going to show you this week, otherwise the freaking video would go on for a while. So, boom, we got our entry points. I did not take this trade because we pushed out, but because we were oversold. There wasn't a lot of confluences for me on this trade, pretty much apart from the volume. But either way, I did not take that trade. Boom, that would have been a winning trade. Now, if we come back down here to, where were we? We've got this point here, cool. So we've got this point, same exact thing, Thursday. I actually took a trade this day, and I took a W. This is the trade that actually allowed me to take a payout, which is cool. So we got this. Now we got 10 a.m. Which is awesome. Now 10 a.m. Asia Tokyo session opened right here for me. I actually entered a bit sooner. I think I entered at this point here, and I took the entry right out here. Now I do, once again, you can also, like I said, use the rectangle. You can get a bit more of a bigger sort of area without just having a line there, but whatever works. Now my other entry points, because this was where we opened, so my entry point for sells was down here a bit. Now, once again, my if I was to take sells, I would have taken it around here, and then boom, I would have come here. And so once again, to mark out your stop loss, you always see your entry point slightly outside, because you just want to make sure it is going to break out. You're not just going to enter right as it crosses that line, and then you make a silly decision. You don't want to do that. Make sure it's going to actually break out first, and then boom, get in to the trade. Now, once again, like I said, you take your stop loss, mark it out to the point where you entered from, or your other entry. 50 points, cool. Come down here, halve that's 25, and take it a bit less, that's 15. My stop loss was around 15 points for this trade. which is why it worked out so well. It's just why I also only go for 1 to 2s. I do occasionally hold, for 1 to however many. I leave runners, but I also typically if I leave runners on trades if I was to take a sell here and I was to leave a runner, I'd be very careful and I'd monitor that because I want to make sure I'm making as much money out of it as possible. You're pretty much dealing with, you're dealing with the stock market, dude. You're in a game where people want to take your money. They want to take your money, so you got to protect your money. Just don't put all your eggs in one basket, they should say. But if I'm leaving runners, I would never ever leave a runner too long, or I'd never go without watching it for if I'm to take a sell, because I know eventually it's going to come back up. There's no point. So at least I know that if I do leave a runner and if I'm taking a buy, I'll be super lenient. It's pretty much mostly stress free with that one, which is cool. And also I pretty much make sure that I set I set it at break even or slightly in profit, so that way I know that I'm pretty much capitalizing off my runner either way. Yeah, that's cool. That was a winning trade, and I know that because I actually took that trade. Now, where are we? That was Thursday. Now, actually, quickly, let me go over what confluences did we have here. First of all, unlike Friday, we weren't actually at the bottom of the range or at the top of the range. We're in the middle, which is a cool sign. Now, if I'm to take buys, it is also a cool sign to see being at the bottom of the range, but also having a buy in play, because I know that there's going to be a lot more pressure with buys because we are at the bottom of the range. So breaking out at the bottom of the range, it's always when the RSI is at the bottom of the range for a buy is better because it typically will go in your favor a lot more. That was my entry point. That's where I took the trade. I actually think I may have even entered a bit sooner than that. I'm not too sure. I know that I got out and that tapped me at my TP. Forget where. I think it was on the second or first candle, but it was cool. And then but the confluences were because we actually didn't necessarily fake out. I guess we wicked out at that point. It just reversed, and then that was another good sign. A couple of signs there, but also because we had such a large strong move down, we ended up pretty much coming down to this point, and we just pretty much ready to come back up for a bit. Just awesome. So that was another main confluences. So then once again, I'll show you one more quick example. I don't want it to go on for too long. Just super quickly, I'll show you one more example. Come back here to Wednesday. Like I said, you've seen the results. I'm not going from from Friday the 5th to January the 2nd. Like, I'm literally coming here. I'm showing the real results this week that I would have taken, but I did not take like I said, I've got a couple of systems, but my main system is a reversal strategy. Now, to enter this trade, we got Asia Open right here at the top. We are overbought, meaning that is a good sign to come in for sells. Now, you do not want to hold. You do not want to be too. You don't want to, because we're so close at this point. You don't want to even though we are overbought, you don't want to be too hard on the entry to sell, because you still want to give it the chance. You still want to make sure it has volume and it is going in your direction, because it could easily just keep pumping up. It's the session open, bro. It literally can do whatever it wants, but it still follows some form of structure or some form of pattern. My entry point would have been here. Now, whether or not you would have got stopped out on this point is up to you, depending on how quick you were to enter or how lenient or careful you were with the trade. Now, let's say we got 22 point, half that's 11. 11. You come down here, you can sort of just, even if you were to, depending on where you set your stop loss, you could have either gotten away with it here or you could have not gotten away with it. Let's just say you didn't get away with it, you were stopped out, but for the week, like let's just say you did get stopped out for the week here, you can sort of look and see that you could have won the next 2 days ahead, or like looking back on that, you sort of wouldn't really matter, because also you are aiming for a 1 to 2, so one single loss doesn't hurt a great deal, especially if you do have a relatively high win rate, which is cool. Having a high win rate with a 1 to 2 can be phenomenal, bro. You don't actually have to have a 1 to 5 and also have like, a 30% win rate. Like having a 1 to 2, but then having like a 75% win rate, bro, is insane, because that is very incredible. This is why I love this system too, because it's not too bad. So let's say you did get stopped out here. Cool. If you did, that's cool. Depending on where you entered. But also, I would not have entered this trade because, main reason, we also, by the time we pushed out, by the time we pushed out, we would have been close to closing. So we probably would have been like 10 seconds left, as I can probably see or tell from this point. Would have been 10 seconds left. Boom, we closed after 10 seconds, but we didn't quite push out. And so when the candle's closing, sort of within the breakout, like when it's soon to close, like every candle here is a 1 minute candle. So you want to be able to take the trade if it's not about to close. I hope that makes sense. But once again, you've got different confluences. We were overbought. We had a slight or pretty well push up by the looks of that. When we come back down to the range, also a good sign. We also didn't necessarily sweep liquidity, but we came back up here and we sort of just, I guess, faked out past these highs, if that's how you want to call it. Like we pretty much pushed up past, but then we wicked up past this swing high or swing low, whatever you call it, and then boom, dropped. Cool. That's easy. Now that's literally it, boys. I'm going to leave it here. And if you do watch or want to learn this system more, if you want to know more about it from my knowledge, just let me know in the comments. Like if you show support, I'm not asking you to subscribe or like this video. I would never ask you to do that, but at least just comment on these videos and let me understand your thoughts, what you want to know, what you want me to leave out, whatever it is, boys. Just let me freaking know, because it really does help. It really does help out. And the reason I haven't shown my other strategy, my main reversal strategy, very similar, but it's not. It is my main strategy for a reason, because it is very good. We literally with that strategy, bro, I'm usually not in the trade. Like, sure, I might be waiting for a trade for 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. Very rarely I'll wait for an hour. But the good thing is, when we're in a trade, like you will see, if you come trade live with me, you will see that we do sometimes wait 45 minutes. But when we take a trade, by the time we enter, we're usually out within 10 minutes. Sometimes, usually a lot of the time actually, we can be out within the first minute. So it's literally, you're in a trade, you're making $1,000 in like 30, 40, 50 seconds. Cool, bro. What else could you ask for that? Literally took a payout using that system. It's just gonna keep expanding. Come trade live with me, but yeah, I hope you learnt something. If you just want to know more, if you just want to know less, just let me freaking know, because that does help you. I hope you have a great weekend, great week, great day. And yeah, peace out, boys. Peace out.